Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as Rowan, and I am joined, as always, by friends and co-hosts.
Rowan, you might know me as Mocha online, and I'm joined by...
This is Captain Nova. You might know me as Sheldon, probably not online.
In real life?
Every time you stumble at your name and then also swap them, it is just chef's kiss. So
I think you should just
good.
legally change your name to Captain Unova. I think that's better.
I should.
It's funny though.
I'll work on that.
To the point of freaking screen names or whatever. I'm so used to, again, because we've known each other for the majority of the time. We've known each other. It's just been screen names on Discord. I still refer to you as Mocha and Captain in my mind, and I have to actively say your real names whenever I do that. So I don't know. That's a thing. So yeah,
I feel it.
Legally change your names to your screen names. Therefore, you can use your screen names in VGC. See?
Oh, okay. This is good.
That's how
There's
it
always
comes
a couple
together.
other Mochas. Like, it's not a super popular screen name, but it's definitely not unique. Like, it's a regular word.
That's why you take some random thing for your screen name, like Rowan.
Just grab letters, like
Or I legally
make some
change
alphabet
my name
soup.
to Mocha, and then I claim it.
Yeah,
the
it's
US
you.
government, yeah.
It's your name.
And
Legally.
anyone that else gets it is impersonating you, and you can sue them for it.
Exactly.
Yes, you can sue them for defamation.
Because they're bad, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I was going for. Anyway, how are y'all doing?
Oh, we're living. We're okay.
Sheldon.
Pretty good. You know.
I'm sorry, Captain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now,
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
to me. Okay.
Okay,
No.
to be fair, it does say Sheldon and Rowan under your names in Riverside. So now, it's just gonna mess with my head the whole time.
There's layers to this.
Yeah, there really is, like an onion or an ogre. So, do we just let's jump into the topic. We were talking about this right before we were recording, because we do that sometimes. We sometimes have a little warm up where we chat about stuff in general. Most of the topic, and the topic for this week is, it was Rowan's idea, so you get to say the title of the episode.
No. It is. I'm not even sure that I pronounced the normal name.
You did. You have been.
Is it just Gdansk? Is that it?
Gdansk.
Gdansk. That sounds like an American Southern attempt at it. I'm not even sure that.
I went to YouTube and asked for, or Google and asked for a pronunciation.
Is that what it
Gdansk.
says?
Gdansk.
I'm doing this now for myself, so I know I'm not being trolled.
Oh, fine. You know what? I will also do it, and I will, if I remember, I'll put it in the episode.
Yeah, you can just voice over every time we say it with the
Gdansk, according to their like
Gdansk.
pronunciation guide.
Gdansk? Gdansk.
Oh, Google's definitely wrong. Google says it's Gdansk.
Wait.
Yeah, you need to get that. You need to get the
pronunciation.
robotic like pronunciation and just voice it over every time we say Gdansk or Gdansk or
Gdansk. Oh, that's Gdansk.
Gdansk.
Gdansk? Is it Gdansk? It can't be. Could it be? Wait, here's a YouTube on it. Hold on. This has
Quality
become the whole
content here.
episode. Yeah, this is good.
Welcome to the Language Podcast, a competitive language podcast.
According
Welcome
to
to
some
Duolingo
Polish guy on
podcast.
YouTube, it's Gdansk. Anyway, I think it would be funny to say Gdansks for the memories, but it's very
Gdansks.
difficult to say. It doesn't work
Gdansk
unless
for the
you're
memories.
reading it.
Gdansks for the memories. Anyway, yeah, I was
Anyway,
listening to the same
The
YouTuber.
Gdansk regionals had some pretty boring teams, not gonna lie to you, but
Except-
there were some standouts
Yeah.
for sure. I think, like, shout out to Tom Winter for bringing Paul Ruiz's team that has like mostly fully accurate moves, and it's just really cool to see Volcarona and King Gambit doing things in Regi. I feel like King Gambit isn't that crazy, but it fell off really hard for a while, and now it's fully back. And Volcarona is super cool.
Yeah, it's oddly good into Rapid Strike Urshifus, just so you can get that flame body chance.
You get the flame body chance. You put a rocky helmet on that thing. You
Yep.
can Terra Grass now, which is probably the biggest biggest boost to it, and it gets Giga Drain naturally, so you don't have to burn a slot on Terra Blast. The other big thing was Eric Rios having another showing for Salamence. We saw Choice Scarf Salamence do really well on rain teams in Toronto, I want to say. Yes, because I was there and that's where it happened. But like we're showing that it's not just like a one-off gimmick. Like you just throw Rocky Helmet, support Salamence with Roost and Tailwind, Draco Meteor, Air Slash, Terra Poison, which is an interesting choice. I feel like that doesn't really cover for its normal weaknesses, but it is just a really good defensive type in this format right now.
Just a fairy.
It covers for the fairy weakness stuff. Yeah. So yeah, really, really cool to see some adjustments, but for the most part, we are still in Reggie, and Oliver Escalin and Simone Sanvito, Sanvi, the one who won another regional recently, came in second in this one, and they are both running standard Torin Shifu offense. Like, in fact, the teams were 5 out of 6 mons the same. The only difference was Chen Pao versus Goldango on Oliver's team, which has been a big adjustment on even on ladder too. Yeah, it is the core.
He had the choice specs Goldie too.
Yeah, which is also like really hard to deal with, honestly. Like it's been literally this way since Reg A, and it keeps falling off, and then people remember like, wait,
Goldango's good.
I can just press this button.
Terra Steel choice specs, make it rain. Like, good luck.
Right?
And just mutilate things.
Tornadus is a really good enabler for that. You give it Tailwind, you have Rain Dance to stop yourself from dying to stuff. Like, if you go sufficiently bulky, then that Rain Dance even lets you live a choice-banded Adamant Flare Blitz.
And it's running Steel Beam.
Yeah.
I've ran, so that's why I've been running. I never even looked at the team sheet, so that's why I've been running. I'm like, why are you running Steel Beam? What is this?
I mean, what else do you put? The other option is like Trick or something, right? Which is admittedly pretty good too. It's a really good side spam answer as well. You can just really throw off their rhythm if you trick a choice specs onto their support mon, or onto an Amoongus or something like that,
or like Iron Hands, or
Is Poke Paste taking a long time for y'all, or does it just hate Florida? Okay,
Florida,
Thank you, Governor.
Poke Paste is too woke for Florida.
For Florida, yeah, I believe that.
Banned. It's on the banned reading list.
Yeah, Poke Paste on the banned reading list. Oh man, wow, that went. It took a left turn. Actually, sorry. I guess that's more of a right. That's more of a right turn.
The real issues.
Anywho, boy, I want to move out of Florida. Anyway, so yeah. So now it's loading, and I'm seeing what the Goldango has here. Oh, because it's choice specs. Sorry, I was thinking of of what the moveset would be, and then I forgot that it's choice specs and not a my goodness, like a nasty plot set.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lefties. Yeah.
You can occasionally see some stuff where a Specs Goldango will run Trick and Nasty Plot. So it's like
it can trick it to you, then I can
away your choice specs, but then you're missing a boosting item, so you Nasty Plot up, and in the meantime, whatever's in front of you doesn't threaten you as much because it's got its choice specs on it.
That's just hoping like you never can touch my Goldango, so I'm just gonna sit here all day.
Yeah, right.
That's a very, very niche play, though. So you gotta be really confident in what you're doing to do that.
I think one of the other adjustments that was kind of cool, though, on Oliver's winning team, though, is that a lot of Arcanines now are not necessarily going with the choice band set, which is just what everybody was running for a while, and it's still really good. Like choice band Arcanine is still amazing, but this one is running Citrus and has Will-O-Wisp over Protect or a fourth attack, and definitely saw that come into play a lot. Like, you don't think of Hisuian Arcanine as a supportive mon, really. Like, it's
Arcanine.
It's Arcanine.
This looks like Arcanine. This looks like Arcanine. Like, just
Terra Water.
Yeah, instead of Protect, it's got Rock Slide. But other than that, you got a regular old Arcanine set on this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good in between from like the old Kanto Arcanine and like the new Hisui Arcanines that just smash you. So super cool to see. Even when the meta's kind of boring, people are making adjustments. And the other thing that I kind of noticed, so two things I guess noticing. One, Ogerpon's making a comeback. It was just completely off the menu for a couple of regionals there. It's just to the point where it's like, oh, we really are just playing D, and people are finding like how to get. It is just Water and Fire or Ogerpon again, like what we thought were the two consistent ones, and then people started kind of like doing crazy stuff with grass and rock. but we are back to just like the consistent ones. But there's tons of them. There are at the bottom half of top cut and third place all had an ogre on them. So like that's pretty great. And then Bramblegast is also making a huge resurgence here, just because Tornadus is everywhere, Urshifu is everywhere, and Bramblegast just dumps on them both.
Yep.
Especially because it also got Poltergeist in this reg, right? So that's
So it actually has a strong ghost move.
Really good ghost move, yeah.
And even though Chen Pao is everywhere, you have Focus Sash to deal with Sucker Punch, and then you just straight zap yourself back up, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't actually get pushed down to your Sash, then you restore it, which is wild. Like Bramblegast is actually an amazing meta call right now.
Keep that in mind for the next 4 weeks. If you have anything going on, San Antonio?
San Antonio is, I think our title's a bit of a misnomer because San Antonio is the real goodbye to this format, but it's like right before Christmas.
But for us,
I feel like it's a lot of folks are missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I think I saw it has like almost 700 people signed up, which is wild.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so a few more things, though, that I thought were really cool. We are starting to see Landorus Incarnate become a really big meta pick, too. This is just kind of the beginning of it with David Miraglia. You definitely don't pronounce the G in that name, but I don't know how to do it justice. So Day is their screen name, and Landorus Incarnate has been really cool to see. You have that Life Orb, Sheer Force, Terra Poison plus Sludge Bomb is huge. They were running Substitute on here, but you can also do Sandsear Storm plus Tornadus with Rain Dance. And then you just have this huge multi-target 100%.
I mean, it's a strong Pokemon. Like, it does a lot of good things. So, like you said, like the Sludge Bomb. But I feel like this is like the original, like the set you always you get Protect, Substitute, then Coverage, Earth Power. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, the real choice is: do you want Earth Power plus Sandsear, or do you want to choose between the two and then get a utility move in there? Mm-hmm. And in this case, they chose to forego Sandsear because they didn't have a Rain Dance to back it up. But Tauren plus Lando Eye is becoming pretty big now too.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is Jamie Boyd getting
Jamie Boyd
9th with a Galarian Articuno, which is
insane.
So sick.
That's so good.
Calm Mind, Terra Ground,
Madman,
Terra Blast, and then Recover and Freezing Glare, and it's just
with a Rocky helmet.
So it's got to be running serious bulk. I don't know what his spread is, but like. That's really cool to see.
He's a madman. Complete madman.
Been doing work. Yeah, no, it is really neat to see. I think so. One of the things you mentioned earlier, Rowan, was that like even though the meta is starting to become stale, and that's pretty true. We see a lot of the same Pokemon doing particularly well in all of these events. Mainly, you have the kind of the 5-mon core of Fluttermane, Rillaboom, Urshifu Rapid, Tornadus, and Hisuian Arcanine.
Yeah.
And then pick your favorite 6th one. Which that is a thing we're seeing more and more of, but there are still a I think a good number of these random, weird, out of left field adjustments, or just cool team building things. Again, like Salamence, Cresselia, Bramblegast. Ogerpon, like I said, making a comeback is pretty nice because she's best girl. But like Galarian Articuno, like all of these cool things. So we're at the end of regulation almost, and we're still seeing some really cool things come out of the meta, which is I think a rarity.
I mean, we got a Cresselia at number 5.
Right.
Yeah, it was huge at the beginning of D, and then it kind of dipped off, and now it's back again. Like,
but it's still an extremely bulky Pokemon.
And Lunar Blessing is still one of the most insane support moves that they've ever added to the game. Period.
And he was running Ally Switch too. We got to see Ally Switch come back.
I did that in Reg D. It was evil. You put that next to Bear, and it's like the thing that's weak to fighting gets to switch with the thing that resists fighting. Like joy.
Yep. Good luck. Yeah. Get to play that mind game again.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see. It's kind of just the story of VGC in general, right? Like even when people complain about like Incineroar and friends and they're going too soon again, right? Like it is definitely frustrating to see like just the same mons over and over again, but ultimately people like there is no combination of mons that is unbeatable or even any combination of mons that is the best, period. There generally isn't. There are exceptions to that in history at some point, but like 99% of the time in VGC you will have some super comp that comes up and then it goes away, and then people like there are tons
someone's
of different
gonna adjust for it. Yes, there's always gonna be counters to it.
Yeah, exactly. You have the Rocky Helmet Teacup, you have the Focus Sash Bramblegast, like you have like the ogre, like the water ogre pawn. It was supposed to be the big counter to Urshifu and ended up not being as much, right? Like,
which is weird.
Surprising things show up. Rocky Helmet, Galarian Articuno, and Salamence too, right? Like all this cool dragon types are suddenly super great in the meta because of all this fire, water, grass offense that didn't exist 2 formats ago.
Right, dragon types like Salamence and Goldango and
Regidrago.
Regidrago has been really big recently too. With Terra Steel and that, and like it's weird because Terra Water was the defensive Terra type for the whole game pretty much, and then Rillaboom came, and now you have to fear a Woodhammer killing your Amoonguss.
Grassy Glides running around, and
so definitely cool to see the development.
We just have so many strong things in the meta but it's a good thing. It's frustrating for team building. It really is.
Correct.
Like it makes it difficult, but it's also good at the same. It's a weird.
It allows for more variety.
Centralized like this, it makes building niche stuff ironically easier.
Yes,
because you know exactly.
You can identify. I know what I'm going to face, so I can build something to kind of counter the meta, which I like. I think that's fun. I think that's a great thing to be able to do. But the meta is so broad because things that are not the top tier team, but just like a little bit below are still good,
still
powerful
solid, right?
teams. So it's not like it usually is where like, it's not the Rinya Sun meta where we have like 3 teams and that's all you have to worry about.
But it's funny, like Rinya Sun's a great example of that, right? And like there was a period where people thought, okay, this team is unbeatable, like, or at least it is the best team that exists in the format. It is at worst even and at best winning against everything. And then it fell off for like most of the format, and it only came back in modified forms later in Series 12. Like you get a lot of stuff like this, but the more centralized the format gets, the more you can have these like crazy off the wall things that would not work in like if you play it against just a random assortment of 6 mons, your crazy off the wall counter is probably going to be mid to bad. But because 70% of all teams are going to have like some of these mons on them. Like there is always a place for my Rocky Helmet Salamence, despite it being like kind of trash most of the time, right?
You can't. Whenever you can build something specific for that, like okay, I need the bulk in this, I need this speed. Whatever you need it at, you can kind of whittle that. But if you have to be more broad with it, just good stuff's like you're better off just running something better.
Bramblegast is not a very good mon in a vacuum, right? But the fact that over half of all teams are going to have a Tornadus and an Urshifu on them, which is a disgusting statistic, but like
a true one, and it's
you're
to
flipping a coin
Bramblegast
for this one slot on my team is going to be really useful. Then sign me up. That's a really.
I will say though, a problem with Bramblegast is like I remember I ran some calcs on one before, and an Urshifu can still almost KO it in the rain with Surging Strikes if you don't have bulk investment.
Right. But if it doesn't OHKO it, then you just strength sap, sap and go right back to full. And its HP is so low that you can even strength sap like really weak things and still get up to full health.
Well, strength sap is such a good move. Like it's like it's not distributed a lot, but it's so good whenever you can actually run something.
It that combined with Focus Sash makes its low HP stats such a like an actual boon, which is wild. Like you see all these kinds of like weird numerical interactions in the game that are probably not intended when they built it, but that's kind of what makes the game beautiful. Is that even Game Freak has no idea what they're introducing at the time.
That's why a generation later they nerfed something like
maybe especially Game Freak doesn't know what they're doing half the time. But like,
I was thinking
really
about
cool what comes out of that.
I was thinking I'm gonna make that joke, and I was gonna leave it on the floor, but it's there.
No,
this looks fun, guys. Well, all right, just put it in. Let's go.
It is interesting though, because like in reality, they're like Game Freak is not having numerous amounts of people like testing for VGC stuff.
No. In most games that are like quote unquote esports, they're literally esports balancing teams.
Right.
Well, like a lot of that goes into a lot of just the creation of it. It's all focused around that. It's not. Yeah. This is a cool concept. This is cool. And then they're like, I feel like they kind of probably backwards it, and they're like, oh wait, we need to like tone this down.
Yeah. In an ideal world, they hire a few wolves to just like give them feedback on decisions. I think in even Smash Bros, which is like notoriously anti-competitive, but like the Sakurai, the guy who designs it, still like he was a competitive fighting game player back in the day and literally made Smash so that there would be a game that he could play with his friends, pretty much, right? Like he wanted a game that he didn't just feel bad for beating everybody down, and so he like does understand the concepts of balancing competitively, and so they actually hired competitive smashers to help them come up with mechanics that would be fun for Ultimate. And those smashers had to sign a document that said, in exchange for you getting to play this early and us paying you and blah, 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 you don't get to compete for X years after the release because you had an unfair advantage. Yeah. So however long they spent helping inform the game was how long they were not allowed to compete.
Yeah, a lot of games do that too. Like Magic the Gathering does that. They'll hire pro players to be part of their R&D department, like, testing things out and all that, but you can't compete because you work for the company. But
exactly, it's like you can still stream, you can still play unofficial tournaments.
Yeah, but you can't.
But we're gonna pay you more than you were likely to make in prize money.
Exactly.
Anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, and you get to be like, get your name kind of in the credits, kind of thing. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I knew some of that happened. I hadn't thought about them not being able to compete or whatever for X amount of time. Pretty cool.
So now that we've spent time complaining about how centralized the meta is, let's talk about Brisbane, where it's completely
where it's entirely not. Yeah.
Because this tournament is pretty much all Australian, Chinese, and Japanese players because of where it is. Right?
Because it's in Brisbane, yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of removed from our meta in some way. I mean, the internet kind of bridges everything, right? But still, there are definitely regional metas, and the Fable being in 5th place kind of supports that.
So another thing that's interesting too, I do want to point out. So Gdansk had 576 players. 526 masters.
And Brisbane was 189.
And Brisbane was only 189 masters. So not even 200 people were in this tournament.
And Brisbane wasn't streamed either, was it?
The event was not streamed.
I don't think so.
That's sad.
And it was just a very, very low turnout. I mean, I think once you get to that low number of players, you don't even get day 2 Swiss anymore. It just goes straight. They just go straight to day 2
Swiss top. Straight to top cut. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, that'd be a long day.
That would be a very long day.
It's. Actually, I think you play the same number of rounds day 1. It's just there is no day 2 Swiss. You don't play an additional
8 Swiss, top 8.
Oh, yes,
single.
it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just 8 rounds instead of 9 on day 1. Yeah. And then it's just you're done unless you made top 8 cut.
Yep.
So it's significantly less.
Well, a top cut is a long day, I guess is.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but so you get. There's definitely some really cool stuff here. I love that Dustclops is becoming a real threat again.
I miss Dustclops.
It's real. It 100% is real. It does stuff, and giving the ability to go Terra Dark on Dustclops to just say no to Dark Urshifu at least for a turn, or taunt, or Prankster Taunt or whatever. Yeah, really nice.
Pain Split, that's always fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and Wisp, like regular Arcanine going away means that people kind of stopped accounting for Will-O-Wisp, and suddenly you have this
Will-O-Wisp is such a good move.
Incredibly bulky, cannot be faked out. Like, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been running Will-O-Wisp on my Heattrans lately just because Will-O-Wisp is so strong into everything that wants to. I mean, it's such a physical thing. It's a physical meta. Yeah,
it's the only thing that cuts Urshifu's damage, and you can do that.
Urshifu, Iron Hands, like so many things, like don't want to take a Will-O-Wisp.
Don't want to burn.
Okay, so one thing I will say is that I think it's a really fun adjustment. Connor Betts has made my life on ladder hellish recently, because this is a really cool team. So it's just regular size spam with like Willicole mixed in, but what he also has as the wild card 6th slot is a Scarf Terra Dragon Regidrago. So this doesn't do anything if your opponent has
a single fairy
bundle or a boost or anything faster than the Regidrago that can that has spread moves, right? Because you just put that next to Indeedee, no more priority, and you can just helping hand Dragon Energy or follow me Terra Dragon Energy or whatever works for the situation.
Yeah,
and
blow everything up.
And a really interesting, what was I gonna say? A really interesting interaction with Rocky Helmet is that if Rocky Helmet KOs a Mon, the secondary effect of their move does not go off, and that includes Ice Spinner. So what you'd think would be a really cool counter for this would be lead Chen Pao, protect on its partner, take the Dragon Energy down to your Focus Sash, and then Ice Spinner to break the terrain. Except they follow me, the Rocky Helmet kills your Chen Pao, and Ice Spinner does not destroy the terrain.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
that's an interesting interaction. Yeah,
it's one of those things that you just have to see in game and get beat by it to learn, I guess.
And you just
or listen to the Game Corner podcast,
which is weird because like I mean the Ice Spinner has to do its thing to hit, like so that interaction doesn't.
Yeah,
it does damage, but the effect I don't know why it is that way. It's just a weird.
I mean, you see him
you
see your Chen Pao spinning across the field like you would think.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how that's coded. I don't know why it is that way, but it is that way. And I think there are other effects that applies to too. Like if a Rocky Helmet kills you, certain things don't happen.
I think I've seen something like that. I can't remember for the life of me, but I was like, wait a second, why did this happen? And it was something died to, again, Rocky Helmet or Spiky Shield or something along those lines, and its secondary effect didn't go off. And I was like, wait a second, hold up. The attack hit. Yeah. It should have done something, but alas.
Yeah, nice. Super cool to see. Like Side Spam is still real.
It's gonna be more real in 2 weeks.
Oh god, yeah. So we don't know for a fact, but we know we are getting Expanding Force as a TM back, and if it gets distributed to Hatterene, we're gonna see a lot more of that. I would say Rillaboom is gonna be his stonks are gonna go up.
Stonks gonna go up. Yep, absolutely.
Which is
more terrain wars.
Part of the problem too is like scrolling down the list of teams, I see like 2 Chiyus in this entire thing. So like Side Spam is just like, oh, okay. Like it's free without a Chiyu sitting there.
Without something to yeah.
But that's always what the extra slots are for, right? So what happened a lot on people's teams, instead of a Scarf Drago like that, there was a lot of Scarf Urshifu Darks.
Yeah.
And you with Terra Dark, and you put that next to the Indeedee, and then you just helping hand Terra Dark Wicked Blow faster than most Mons. It's like, so that's balanced teams historically have a great matchup into Hard Trick Room. Yeah, and that is your answer to balance, is that nothing they have
just
is going to
do a lot of damage.
Yeah, you just nuke 2 to like a couple of their Mons, and then suddenly you have the numbers advantage. It doesn't even matter that you're slower anymore. Half the time you don't even need Trick Room anymore.
Yep. Why is this Clefable? Because I've ran into a couple of Clefables on Ladder 2, and I'm pretty sure they were running the same set. But all I know is like the couple I've ran into, I taunted it, and then I heavy slammed it, and it went away. So I didn't know what else it did.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like it doesn't immediately like scream out what it does. So
yeah, well, I was like, because I remember like seeing it like because they did do open team sheet. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It just happens to fit into this meta decently, right? So it's bulky and it has Rocky Helmet, so that's nice.
And follow me and
follow me and Rocky Helmet's also always a good combination. Unaware, so you have something that's great against Dozo, great against setup stuff. It kind of invalidates a lot of King Gambits that don't run Ironhead. Ironically, on a team with an Ironhead King Gambit, it does just counter a lot, and then Moonblast Ice Beam is great coverage too. You'll see that on Cresselia is a good bit as well. Yep. Except it doesn't have to Terra Fairy to get a stab Moonblast.
Yeah.
No, and this one was Terra Water, which is it goes back to it's a great defensive typing.
Yeah, and yes, that does leave you open to Rillaboom, but then the rest of the team is a giant middle finger to Rillaboom. Literally every other mon on there resists grass and also does solid damage into it, except for your own Rillaboom.
Yep.
Like Glamora, Lando, and Ogre Pond Fire all just demolish it. Yep. So it was like, yeah, please bring that.
It was an interesting couple of tournaments to see.
Yeah. trying to scroll down. It's like it's kind of hard to decide that stuff is good or not. Once you scroll down a little bit on a 189 person tournament, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got Chandelure.
But that's on Benji Wang's team, right? Who we know is a really top level player from what they did in Sword and Shield. So I would be willing to hear him out.
Well, but that's speaking to the regional differences too. Like a covert cloak Among Us, like that's
don't get faked out. Just sport.
Yeah. Like it's different. Like
which is also not bad because there's just so much rock slide Arcanine here, right? Like if you
no flinches.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a Wheezing in 47th place. Jamie Hodge.
And a Ceruledge. Oh,
Weezing's surprisingly solid. Ceruledge is new though.
It got Poltergeist.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Bitterblade.
Good catch for that.
Bitterblade, Shadow Sneak, and Poltergeist would bulk up now.
Yeah, there's certainly interesting things, right? And again, we're looking for both of these tournaments. We're looking at different regions, of course, Europe and Australia. But like we are also, it's still interesting to see plenty of changes and things that aren't just a centralized meta. And I think it's really cool. I don't know what we're going to see out of San Antonio in a couple weeks. I feel like the NA region is going to normally be a lot more centralized and boring than the other regions. Maybe that's because that's where I live. But
honestly, it's NA and EU, and a lot of the NA and EU guys share teams, so it makes a lot of sense,
true.
Right? There have literally been weekends where I think like Wolf and Statter and Marcus Statter have both cut different regionals within a day of each other
with the same team.
Together, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll see a lot of super standard stuff here and in Europe, and then in Japan and Oceania, it's just off the walls. Nuts.
Off the walls.
Yeah,
and
it's some wild stuff. I like getting a peek into
worst, right? Like the Japanese players are probably better than
they won Worlds
right now.
So
swept Worlds, and it was in Japan, so it's a little different, right? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of qualifiers couldn't go because it's so expensive. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think Japan is probably the strongest region in the world right now.
Probably true.
And they come up with wild. So I like seeing things like the Brisbane. Like we get a little peek into that world. Not the Japanese players, but I mean,
some Japanese players. 10th place was Yuki.
I was gonna say Yuki's there.
Yeah, with the Hisuian Gudra, which has been showing up a little bit. I mean, I had I don't know, misfortune of being utterly demolished by Toller's Hisuian Gudra, but
like I guess like in a league term, like that kind of Pokemon's like a stat checker. It's it's something like if you're not prepared kind of thing, it is going to ruin you because you can't touch it. Like if your best bet is like a Urshifu or something, like then you're not going to do anything to a Hisuian Gudra. But it's just like one of those kind of. It's almost like also like Size Spam does the same thing.
Size Spam does that.
How it's if you're not prepared for this, it's gonna
steamroll. It's
gonna ruin your day.
Are you having fun playing with your cat?
Hold up, watch this. Play.
For those who are just listening, Rowan has a laser pointer and a cat, and is spinning the cat like a washing machine.
Yeah.
This is the only way I can get these things to exercise. So like,
I do that to mine. I do that to mine too.
He says,
little monsters.
I do the exact same thing to mine. I make them just like go spinning around until they just almost collapse because they'll chase it.
I'm gonna get him jacked. I'm gonna like slowly add more little weights to his paws, and then eventually.
There you go.
For messing with him like that.
For torturing him for all this time. Yeah.
He's gonna be able to...
he like at this point, I don't think the cat actually likes me. Just really wants the little light that I can create.
Yes.
Yeah, just come up and like I'll pet him. He's like, no, not that. Make the
Give
ghost
me the laser.
Make the light. Yes, I want to. There he goes.
More.
More light, Father. Anyway, so anything else to talk about for these two tournaments?
I think I'm BGC'd out on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Again, it's cool to see. If you're looking for any inspiration, there's plenty of tournaments now as we were closing out on Regulation E.
Yep.
For any local stuff coming up or any
I feel like locals
San
are popping
Antonio stuff
off
coming
all
up.
over the place.
Yeah, I might go to one this weekend. Actually, my plans for the weekend has been altered dramatically, so I might end up going to a local now, which is very fun.
Nice. I went to my first one this past weekend.
I need to find a team.
I came in 4th, and I went 4-0 during Swiss rounds.
Yes, you were so excited for this. Talk about it.
Oh man, it was good. I brought my mouse.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I cut. But replayed a match.
Solid 8 CP right there.
12 CP.
And 12
okay,
CP.
nice.
Yeah, I got some.
12 more than me.
Yeah, went 4-0 though. And then in the top, I got crit like 3 times, and I
had a similar experience at my local to get dropped out of top cut. It was wild.
Yeah,
literally 3 consecutive crits followed by a move missing. Like
it's like
sometimes the game just gives you like no,
y'all
get out
know,
of here.
Y'all know that Rapid Strike Urshifu crits 3 times in a row, right?
Yeah, not that.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was a known factor for y'all.
Yeah. One of them was an Ivy Cudgel, so I was like, okay, it has a heightened crit chance, but it's still like 12%, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not that high.
And then it was just other moves, literally turn after turn, and then my head smash missed, and I was just like, well,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
If I like watching my like Iron Hands drop to like one move is just like, okay, well, didn't plan on that to happen.
That was not part of the calculus. Not part of my game plan. But yeah. Cool.
It was fun though. Got some CP. That's my first CP actually. So
nice. Congrats.
Nice.
Maybe I can get some at Charlotte now.
Right.
So Charlotte is the next. It's the first regional of the new format, right? And I think all of us are going to be there, which is pretty cool.
Both those statements are correct. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have not had time to prep for all my VG prep has just been. I can squeeze in a couple ladder games once in a while. But
Charlotte, we got a whole new format, so
it's going to be more of a level playing field, and I'm going to be prepping hard over the break time.
We get in Portland.
There's Portland regional right before then,
really?
January 6th through 7th. That's a week, 2 weeks prior.
Yep. So we get a preview, but it's not going to be much of one because they only get. They get a short amount of time with the meta. So
yeah. So we can steal some teams from Portland and then practice for 2 weeks and take it to Charlotte and not win.
Let me know if you want some teams for your local. I've got some rain if you want.
I got some spice if you want it. And a squawk ability. I got a squawk ability that I've been running with some success. So
send me some pastes in our chat, and then I will gladly look at them and then see. I have to. Speaking of prepping for a local, I have to refix my place I get my Pokemon from.
Yeah. We all need that back.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that after recording. All right.
You know what you should do, Boca? Is like you need a fan and like turn it on low and just hang it from it and just let it go.
I wonder if he'd still be entertained by it if it was like completely robotic or if
I'm sure he would.
But the randomness
or get a Roomba, have a Roomba just run around with it on it. And
I normally will reverse the direction because I actually did do it just in tight circles for like a solid 30 seconds and he got dizzy. He fell over. Yeah, stumbled around and I was like, "Don't go to the stairs or you'll die." Like
I do that. I do that. The exact same thing.
It was adorable, but I stopped doing that after a while. I was like, it feels cruel.
Sure. So speaking of the new format for Charlotte and Portland, Regulation F.
We got an announcement.
Is gonna exist,
but we didn't really get any information beyond it will exist. I was like,
it will exist, and it will be stuff from the DLC.
We had pictures.
Yeah,
some Pokemon on the front. I don't.
What we got confirmed was that it is what we expected it to be. No restricteds. Yes. It will just be current format plus whatever we get in the DLC. But in order to not spoil the DLC, they just said, wait and find out what that.
Yeah, we will post what
on Christmas
Dexes or whatever.
They're gonna post the DLC comes out on the 14th.
Yeah.
Yes, but the list of eligible Pokemon will be announced on the 25th of December.
Oh my
So
gosh.
2 weeks afterwards.
We will have that data mined within 1 day of December 14th, and we will have a showdown version of the format within a couple of days. Yeah. A week tops. Like people are very serious about this.
So on the picture that you're talking about, Sheldon, we have Metagross, Whimsicott, Archelon, and of course, Sinistcha. That one.
Yeah,
that's already legal.
Already in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there. It wants to say hi again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of content out there already about what people think is going to be good.
Incineroar.
Obviously, Incineroar. Yeah, there's a bunch of mons that are just, God, this would have been good 3 formats ago. Now I don't know.
There's so much of that.
Yeah,
I mean, we got that right now.
Yeah, also true with the home stuff for sure.
Yeah.
And, I do think that some things will eventually surprise us, like kind of like the Galarian Articuno thing. It's like, yes, this mon is not amazing in a vacuum when you think about like the big meta threats, but there are ways to build them. And so stuff like Primarina, for example, is like I would have killed for Primarina and Reg A.
Yeah,
sure.
Or even B, but now kind of does it do anything? I don't know, but I think people will find ways to use mons like that. Whimsicott's going to be a huge thing. Metagross is like it has potential to be scary because it's just a big stat bomb, and I do
want to see what Metagross does. Yes, it'll be very fun.
But despite its amazing stats, I think it just dies to Surging Strikes in the rain neutrally, right? Like,
yes, it'll be neutral. So yeah, and what's it going to hit it with? Not Bullet Punch.
No, it does get Thunder Punch for what it's worth, but I think you're that's still a 2-shot.
Thunder Punch, Thunder Punch is not a strong move.
Surprisingly, I've been running it on AV Dragonite, taking a page from Riley's book, and it does 2 shots Urshifu Water, and but the difference is that Dragonite resists Urshifu and Metagross does not.
Yes, that is a big difference.
Well, Metagross just goes Terra Lightning, Terra Electric,
Terra Grass, maybe, or Water,
Terra Grass,
or something.
Terra Water, Terra Dragon.
Yeah.
That's the move nowadays. It's Terra Dragon. It has Bullet Punch for fairies. Okay, hold on. We got this.
The thing is that, the Bullet Punch, because Scissor's always existed, but it's not. Yeah, it's Scizor, outside of its attack stat and the whole Technician Bullet Punch gimmick, it just can't really hold up. It's not. We're not in BDSP anymore. Like, power creep is real. Yeah. But Metagross has the bulk to maybe be a better Bullet Puncher, and Flutter Mane isn't going anywhere, right? So that's...
it's always there as a target.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Less than, because we know people will start doing Wi-Fi battles. Right? The ladder won't exist until January, but
don't be on you have people grinding the casual ladder.
The official ladder.
Yeah, the showdown ladder is the more important part. The
showdown will be there. Absolutely.
The in-game ladder is kind of pointless without open sheets. So
that's true.
It's a fun
content creators will be making content.
I've lost. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, even when I feel like playing the game, I've completely lost any desire to do content creation because I'd have to play the ladder.
Yeah. That's why I feel like that's just good. Just go grab some dumb rental teams and run those. Like, nothing serious. Yeah. Don't think about it. Just go.
Can y'all hear the meowing in the background?
Yes.
Is that
yes,
cool?
And it will be in the. I'm not taking it out.
He is very bossy and wants his.
He wants
back.
things so bad.
It's not just the laser pointer either. Like, sometimes the sun will shine in through the window and reflect off my watch and make a little dot on the wall.
And
that's amazing.
Any kind of
angle. It's like he's just chasing ghosts all day.
and you complain about exercise for the guy.
Yeah.
I got to do it more. He's like dragging his flap across the ground as he does this. So like.
Oh, so
poor little guy.
I'm
abusing him verbally online.
My oldest cat has something like that. He's got like some flap, but he's like his belly. You see, whenever he like runs really fast, you just see it just flop back and forth.
That's an actual thing. All cats have a primordial pouch. It's called. So this is the Game Corner competitive cat anatomy podcast, and
Catatomy.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to drag on the ground. So
fair, yeah.
I didn't know
something
that.
Else at play here.
I don't know if I wanted to know that, but I didn't know that
now
prior to this.
His is just extra pouchy. compared
Extra
to our
primordial.
yeah, because that thing just, I mean, it swings like it's like an extra tail.
Oh, I did not watch the Game Awards.
Were
Do you
they-
want to call it?
Were they at one point marsupials? No, the Game Awards. So yeah. So for whatever we had for a B other video game segment of this episode was Game Awards stuff. The Game Awards actually happens the night this episode drops.
Oh, okay.
Baldur's Gate
So-
3.
That explains why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it didn't exist yet. So yes, I will be checking out Game Awards because I do it every year, and it's fun to see world premiere and whatever else I did do for all the awards and stuff. But of course, we all know Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna
to
win
win
everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
I checked my Steam stats for how many hours I put into this game, and I've been working a lot. So I was like, how did I possibly do that? And the answer was by not sleeping.
How many hours do you have in
that-
Baldur's Gate?
About
You know,
300.
You get
That
a lot
tracks.
of you get a lot of extra hours if you don't sleep.
Yeah, it's a complete waste of time.
I don't think I
Doing
have
nothing for hours.
Exactly. Lazy.
300 hours. Baldur's Gate. Yeah, so my Steam is only at about 50 hours.
Yeah, you'll have to check your PlayStation for that.
PlayStation, and then I've spent most of my, or at least like half of my time playing Baldur's Gate has definitely been watching Becca, if not more than half the time. And she
But
is
it
sitting
counts.
at like 130,
Well, they just
140
added a
hours.
hard honor mode.
Honor mode, I saw
Not
that.
allowed to die, and it's even harder than Tactician. And they
And
use
there's only
legendary
one
actions
save.
on the bosses. Yeah, sorry.
You only have one save in honor mode too. You can't save
Yeah.
scum.
It's an Iron
You
Man.
cannot save scum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
not-
an
they-
Iron
they-
Man.
It is
Iron
some
Man
funky
setting
for
kind
it.
of thing.
Can you reload the single save or no?
I don't know what, like, they put only one save for a reason, so I don't know if that's like them just trying to
Yeah, I
minimize
have to decide
save
if I want to.
spamming.
I
Because
think-
honestly, like, okay,
I think you go back to the save, but like you only get, so you can't actually like save scum the way those
Yeah.
things
you
usually
could,
go.
but you could just F5 and F8 the same save over and over again for
Right.
for like
Yeah.
that. So here's the thing. Like I have gotten to the point where like I've finished the game like almost 3 times now.
I was gonna
with,
ask.
like very completionist runs. So
Yes.
at least the last 2 have been. So like I've like, I know what's coming. I don't need to like save scum to see different parts of the story anymore.
Yeah.
And I won't do it in fights because like my builds are overpowered enough that it doesn't really matter. But like, if I miss a few hits, but like there are certain roles in the game that are just like, wow, you accidentally made an enemy of this entire area because you like, failed to pick a lock or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'd rather not go through that, and I'll reload. If you
The-
can't, then it's like I don't know if I want to make myself miserable with the hard.
I guess, but you know,
Yes.
I guess it's just one of the things though too. You get the fun of just like
You see-
really
you
got to
see
think
what it
about
is.
those decisions.
Yeah.
Like you
Okay,
can't
so
just
also the sheer
you just can't like,
complexity
all
of
right,
it
let me roll that
can-
back.
The sheer complexity of the game itself does lend itself to bugs, and it does happen. I have
Yes.
ended up in situations where like spoiler, you can recruit the 5 seconds for people to pause it if you don't want a spoiler about the evil story in Baldur's Gate. Great. You can recruit Minthara, who is the drow
Yes.
who raids the grove early in the game, right? And so I did that in my evil playthrough. I killed Ketherick with her in my party, and then I got back into Moonrise Towers, and I started, and I realized that I had forgotten to loot some of the corpses in there when I killed all the people on the way in. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get all this loot out of them. And as I did that, Minthara unjoined from my party, and it was like, what are you, and started acting like a guard. And I was like, what are you
What?
doing? Why are you stealing? And then she just attacks the rest of my party. And so I knock her out. I don't want to kill my party member, but she can't be killed or knocked out. She's just stuck at 1 HP, like getting up and going down, because the game doesn't know if she's an absolutist NPC like she was originally, or a party member like she is now.
Wow.
And so it ended up in this glitch state. I tried going back to camp. I tried long resting. I couldn't do anything. And I eventually had to, and I hadn't been saving often. I had to go back
Oh,
all the way
no.
before the Ketherick fight and redo the whole thing.
Wow. That's
Ouch.
absurd.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there's so much stuff in this game. I can't even blame the devs for having like oversight.
So
some
bugs,
in the most recent patch, though, they added a way to recruit Minthara if you don't do the evil playthrough.
You have to non-lethally knock her out early, and
yes.
So I'd love to see like Minthara Halsin interactions later on, right? Like those two are mutually exclusive before.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Which I don't know if that's doable or if like one leaves if you take the other still. I don't know. But
I can't see Halsin being like, "Don't save this lady; just watch her die."
Yeah,
that's fair. I'll give you that. But yeah, so
just little things like that, I wouldn't want to not be able to reload from.
Sure, absolutely. So that's that's definitely game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3, no question. But what's the second game of the year? What's gonna win? That's not Baldur's Gate, right? Like, what do y'all think if you guys were to pick a game for this year that isn't
I think
Baldur's Gate?
If you asked me 6 months ago, it would have to be Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like it just fell off from the public perception so hard in the last few months. Like, I don't know. People still talk about it, but it's not like it's not God to anybody anymore, which is interesting. I need to go back and actually do the final fight so that I can say I've beaten it. But I've played 90% of the game, and like it.
A coworker of mine just came up and was like, "Hey, have you beaten Tears of the Kingdom?" I was like, "No, not yet." And he's like, "Yeah, I just finished it, and we were talking about it and all this fun stuff." I was like, "Oh, that's okay, cool." I was like, I was shocked to hear someone be like bring up Tears of the Kingdom in that regard, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. That was a good game. I should go back and play it."
Yeah, I've played a lot more Spider-Man. I'm still like, this is fun, but it feels mindless. Like I'm still not.
It's a little bit like I feel that like it's you're playing through the story in a series of QuickTime events, which like if that's what you want, it's great. It does it. And it's fun.
It looks beautiful. It's still fun,
pretty. But
after about an hour of it, I was like, I'm not getting as much enjoyment and just kind of like going through motions. I know I'm biased because I like the franchise a lot, but I genuinely think that Pikmin 4 was like a real sleeper this year. Like I've seen a lot of people just come out recently and be like, yes, actually, I liked this better than Tears of the Kingdom. Like this is like on my top list for the year. It like really bridged the gap between like weird RTS nerds who like optimized the hell out of the previous games and people who are just like, Olimar's cute, I want to try this out. And like, and so is the dog thing, right? Like it's actually like it's a surprisingly deep game for how easy it is. And like it just seems like Nintendo at like when they do something right.
Yeah, that is a definite Nintendo staple kind of game. You know, it's okay. Yeah, this is why we all like Nintendo.
Because a lot of the other ones that are like up for Game of the Year just feel like they have fundamental problems, right? Like, Alan Wake is a visual novel. What was it? Starfield is like Bethesda's worst swing at something in a while, in my opinion. Like,
well, it's their only game in a while. That's not entirely true. But like
Final Fantasy, I've heard good things, and I haven't gotten to play it despite owning it.
It's supposed to be Skyrim in space, and it's like,
but somehow worse than a game that's a decade old, more than a decade old. Like,
there's not as much depth there as people wanted.
Yeah, which, you know, I mean, there's hope for the future, which I hope they kind of go and add stuff in. Which they should, but Bethesda usually does. So,
but it's hard to say. Mario Bros. Wonder is actually a beautiful game.
It's very good.
I just feel like no matter how good you make a 2D platformer, it's just never going to have the depth.
It's a 2D platformer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like what more? It's still just nostalgic. Like it's cool.
Like extremely well designed, beautiful art direction.
I feel bad paying, you know.
It feels weird paying $60-$70 for it, and even if you do feel like you got your money's worth, it feels weird comparing it to a game that's like really fully featured.
Compared
to Baldur's Gate,
ultimately Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, like you're comparing, like, or to, I mean, in almost any games, like you can't even compare it to Tears of the Kingdom. It's like I paid the same price for these, like
right.
Like I play, like me and my wife play Super Mario Brothers Wonder because it's fun to play those kind of games. I feel like co-op more than it is just sit by yourself and play them.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
That's really it. Where I was like, I don't think I could see myself playing Mario Wonder for a long time by myself.
Maybe if I could put it in a game cabinet and play it like an arcade, that would be fun. That'd be cool.
You could if you really wanted to. To be fair,
you could. I could put a dock in a game cabinet.
Yes, like if you really want to do that to yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And then like I love fighting games a lot, but I can't. I would feel weird putting it as the game of the year. Like maybe Smash Ultimate you could put as a game of the year when it came out because it's many audiences and it has so many different modes and whatnot. But like Street Fighter 6 is a beautiful game. Even if I was good at it and had stuck with it competitively, I would feel weird saying that's the game.
Right. Yeah, I think I agree with all of that. Really. There were a couple of really cool indie games that came out this year too. If you want to look at the indie category, I think Sea of Stars is really good. I've been playing that. Day of the Diver was fun. I played that a couple months ago. Where's the indie category? I'm doing this all from memory right now.
Yeah,
I can't read. Haven't played Cocoon yet. That looks
Dredge.
cool.
IGN thinks Pizza Tower. I don't even know what Pizza Tower is, but
I've been wanting to try Sea of Stars. I've been seeing it come up like across my like.
It's cool. I like it.
Stuff. And I'm like, it looks like I like it. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Yep, it's a neat game. I need to play Dredge too, or Dredge as well. For cool indie games. What else?
Oh, Pizza Tower's best debut indie
game.
It looks chaotic. It's giving me like I don't know, like 90s vibes. Just looking at the thumbnail, I
was gonna say the thumbnail is definitely telling in that sense.
Yeah, like almost like Ren and Stimpy or something going on there.
Yeah, it
like
is.
something like that era.
I will maybe go check it out later. I don't know. So yeah, we can talk about Game Awards next week when it's actually done and be like, oh my gosh, look at that, Baldur's Gate won. Yeah, I mean Baldur's Gate is in like a handful of the categories and it's gonna win most, if not all of them. Yeah, that it's a part of. So you can go cast your vote though. I think still when this comes out today, we can go cast votes. I'm talking a few days early. If you want to player's voice vote for Baldur's Gate. Yeah, let's go ahead and I think make this an episode. I mean, I'll politely ask: is there anything else y'all have been playing?
That was pretty much
it. We kind of just talked about stuff, right? Like it's
been a good year for games, but yeah, I think I'm about wrapped up for the year, honestly.
Truly, it's been another good game for years. It's a good game for game.
For years.
Good year for games. Yeah. It's a good game year. Oh, dang it! It was a good year for games last year as well, and also this year. Games is good. That's a good sign off. Good be games. Games be good. So anyway, so with the DLC coming out in I guess
a week.
A week?
In a couple days.
Wait, it's a week from when this drops. I am going to try my darndest Thursday, Friday, or Saturday that week to stream the playthrough, the beginning of my playthrough.
Do some
let's play of the DLC. So if you want to check it out with me, you can keep your eyes on the channel. This channel, the Game Corner, and also my Twitch. I'll stream it for that.
And on the Discord.
And on the Discord when we announced that that's happening. And then it'll be fun to play the DLC and talk about it later.
I will not be here next week, but it'll be fun to go over what we all thought about it the week after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to figure out that scheduling stuff offline. That's fine. Cool. I guess that's it. So I've been Harrison. You can find me at @row_ixon on all the places, or at @row_no_ixon on Blue Sky, because that's the thing I just got and haven't really done anything with. If you
fancy,
yeah, I'm gonna just kind of flex Blue Sky.
One of these days, people will move there too.
Yeah, it's
pretty dead. People,
it's pretty dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was like,
when it's invite only, it's
and
it's bound to be dead.
It's like, who could have done this to us?
I put in my thing so long ago, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. So this we can find me and who I as Rowan. Who is you?
Who is me? Who is Rowan? Rowan is me. I don't make content anymore, to be perfectly honest. So Rowan is here. Sheldon, who are you?
Rowan is here.
And Sheldon's here too because he doesn't do anything either except for work and go to school. But yeah, you can find me at Captain Unova pretty much everywhere. Captain_Unova on Twitter, and all the links are down below.
Yeah, that's what he just said. All the links down below, including for us, the Game Corner, at Game Corner VGC on Twitter, at Game Corner Pod on YouTube or whatever. I may have had those backwards. That's been the point. It's all down there, including the links to our Discord if you want to come hang out there and get announcements for the stuff that we do, or just kind of hang out and chill and share rental codes and showdown stuff or whatever. And then if you feel like you would like to support us, our patrons there as well. But thank you to RobKTA for the use for a theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner off the Ultraball album. It's super fun. And until next week, press start. That's not how I do this. Whatever. Press start and game on. Bye. Games be good.
See our brains melting on screen.
Yeah, so true. Oh man, that was. I have not pulled up my script for that in approximately one forever, and it shows.